Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second segment of the June 17th Trips and Traps. Andy Serling, Eric Donovan.
As promised, two more races to bring you in this segment, including the Grade 1 Ogden Phipps Handicap, a really neat race in terms of the fact that you had three horses from Godolphin / Darley comprising the 1A, 1X entry. They are 7th Street, Sea Chanter, and Music Note. 7th Street and Music Note, obviously, the ones that are getting the most attention.
Right, and this is the first of two races in this segment, and both of them will have a similar theme, and that theme will be premature moves, and I think this race is fairly well documented. You see 7th Street, one of the two strong halves of the entry, though it's funny because 7th Street, I think, was the best horse in the race, but Sea Chanter, the least heralded of the three part of the entry, she ran very well in here, but Music Note is the 1A, who's sitting 4th right now, and she's making her return. She was the runner-up for 3-year-old Filly of the Year last year, and right exactly inside of her at this point is the eventual winner, Seattle Smooth. But as you can see, while both horses are in a comfortable position now, with Sea Chanter just behind them, that will change very soon.
That was a perfect snapshot of the backstretch run because you did have two horses alternating for the lead up on the front end, and Seattle Smooth and Music Note both, in about the same position here. And at this point, you see Seattle Smooth kind of edge away from Music Note a little bit here, and then the other entry mate, Sea Chanter, comes up on the outside of Music Note.
Right, Music Note gets thrown into a drive. I don't know why. At like the 5/8 bull, is it because she sees Seattle Smooth getting away? Is it because Sea Chanter comes on the outside of her? I can't tell. Well, now you've got 4 across the track, 3/8 of a mile from home, with the speed of the Godolphin horse outside of the longest shot on the board, My Dinah, and that's, of course, 7th Street runs second. Music Note is outside of her, Sea Chanter outside of them, and there's Ramon Dominguez on Seattle Smooth, sitting chilly.
A great ride from Ramon. Got very fortunate here to have a couple of other jocks aside to make that premature move on the outside, so Seattle Smooth can just sit in behind here. We see 7th Street now at the lead, and 7th Street really does run a remarkable race in here, Andy. I think you're right. 7th Street did run the best race in here out of the whole group, but softened up a little bit early by the two, My Dinah, and the perfect trip winner, Seattle Smooth, just going to grind down 7th Street early. But the key is, what do you do with horses like Music Note and Sea Chanter next time?
I don't know, because, well, Sea Chanter I know is better than I thought she was, because she runs a very nice third there. Music Note, she was a very nice filly last year, and is good, if not better, pretty much than the other 3-year-old fillies we have. How good that ultimately makes her, I don't know, because clearly Seattle Smooth has improved, and she had that big win, the Cotillion, at the end of the year. She still had very good setups in her race, so she's the kind of horse that I'm always going to be playing against because she has such good dynamics. But the fact that she can rate and sit relatively close and close at the end works to her favor. But I was very impressed with 7th Street in this race, a horse that I was not impressed with going in. I thought she was dressed up after a slow pace, controlling victory in the Apple Blossom, but she really ran well.
Don't get to see too many 3-horse entries vying 2, 3, and 4 wide at the 3/8 pole, but certainly a memorable running of the Ogden Phipps. One more race to bring you here on the second segment of Trips and Traps, and another premature move we'll take a look at here, the 8 AP Light, who's been toward the bottom level of dirt racing here, but has yet to run on the turf and has some pedigree.
Yeah, I'm really interested in this horse. And first of all, she gets stayed out a little bit at the start, and here she is back to last. And it's important to note in this race that the horse who finished second at almost 25-1 ends up setting the pace, and that's Hello Gold. So it's not a race that collapsed. And you've got AP Light, who's a very, very moderate dirt horse, and I like the fact that she ends up running 7th when everything is said and done here, so it's not like she's totally exposed. And we're not saying she's a killer, but this is the kind of field, not a strong field. They'll be getting together again, but as you're going to see with AP Light, after she broke slowly, she will make a slingshot move as they go around the far turn.
Still toward the back of the pack, well reserved, and right here you'd like to see kind of try to inch up a little bit. And we also have the number 9 horse in the race that we're taking a look at as well, Classical Fashion, who went off as one of the favorites here.
Yeah, she was just under 3-1, and you can see her sitting, I think, in about 4th right now. And I think that she's hampered. And AP Light, just follow her in the red silks, sort of moving up a little bit behind. But I know when AP Light makes this move, you'll see shortly, as they turn for home, and we'll highlight it. Classical Fashion was sort of forced by that move in a similar fashion to what happened the race before that, and she never got comfortable and ends up finishing 3rd. She's okay, but she's going to be a shortish price next time. AP Light, who out of nowhere, and here she comes, once again, You don't win races, especially on the turf at Belmont, making moves like this. And AP Light makes this enormous move and actually gets to the lead at this point. And this is something that will not really show up in the chart, though they'll show her second a length off. But between calls, she gets to the front here. Classical Fashion sort of pinched off between by that move. AP Light showed a new dimension, if you ask me.
Absolutely, I agree. And the pedigree, as I said earlier, is nice here for the grass. Cape Canaveral out of an AP Indy mare, and trainer Bobby Roboto started this one off in September of last year on the dirt, so really not too many chances to run on the turf. Now he's got a whole summer of racing to run her on the turf, so perhaps her best days are ahead of her. Maybe we can make a little score next time out.
Yeah, I am really interested to see where she shows up. If she shows up in pretty much the similar field that she was in here, I think a more patient ride in her next start. She's the kind of horse at a big price that could at least get into the exacta, and she's the kind of horse we're looking for. Obviously, she's a bit of a stretch, but on the other hand, you'll be rewarded with your price, because I'm sure she was a massive price near 62 to 1. So it's not like even if she gets bet off this race, she could be less than 8 or 10 to 1.
I think it's a good horse to look out for. AP Light here in Classical Fashion. We'll take a look at as well again down the road. Classical Fashion coming into this race off a couple-month layoff, which I found kind of kind of strange. Maybe she needed the race here, get back in action here for trainer Gary Contessa. You run April 26th, one of the first turf races of the year. You don't come back again for another couple months. Something must have gone a little bit wrong there.
Yeah, but the interesting thing was, when we remarked about this in the show, she didn't have a gap in her workout. So she was working continuously since the race. Maybe Gary just felt she needed time. Okay. She's a logical horse, I agree. She's a more solid horse. AP Light's an iffy horse, but you don't get $30 on horses unless they're a little bit iffy.
Well, let's hope that's the case here. $30. I'm sure everyone would take that next time out on AP Light. Well, that does it for this segment of Talking Horses. Keep in mind, we'd love to hear your emails. tripsandtraps@NYRAinc.com is the email address here, and that about does it for us.
That does it for us. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. See you next week.